There are three things to target systematically so that you can go from a stiff rounded upper back to looking brilliantly tall. The systems are the muscles that are tight. We want to target those. The second thing is mobilizing and improving your upper back spine. And then the third is reinforcing it with strengthening. Now make sure to stick throughout the whole video to get the complete program to increase your chances the most. Oh, also there's a fourth that I'll save to the end. My name is Manny. I am a physical therapist and I help a lot of tech workers become and remain pain-free throughout their career. Okay, let's talk about corporates here. The pec minor will become really tight, and then the muscle, the muscle right underneath our armpit here will also become really tight. So we want to stretch those muscles so that it will give us a chance to increase our ability to look tall. I don't know what to do with this. So first, let's stretch out the muscle underneath our armpit, mainly the lats. To do this appropriately, you want to find a foam roller and lay along the side of the foam roller, placing the foam roller right underneath your armpit. You want to rock yourself up and down the foam roller and then roll forward and back on the foam roller, and then drive your pelvis forward and back on the foam roller. You will find that this will give you the best results because you're loosening up the tissue in multiple ways. Now, that area will be more than likely tender, so you want to be mindful of how much pressure you're putting on the foam roller. You want to put enough where the tenderness is tolerable to you. Now, ideally, you should be able to hold this position and maintain this position for about 40 to 60 seconds. I would encourage you to do it for 2 rounds each time you do it, and I would encourage you to try to do it twice a day. Okay, so the next thing to do to help improve your upper back mobility is to find a corner. For real, find a corner to stretch the pec minor. To stretch the pec minor, you want to stand next to a corner of a wall. Bring the elbow up and place it against the wall with the elbow at the height of your shoulder. From here, step forward with the same side leg of the side that you want to stretch, and then lean forward, rocking yourself forward and back to get a little dynamic stretch and load through the pec minor. You want to absolutely make sure that the shoulder is down when you are stretching the pec minor here. You don't want to jack the shoulder up, otherwise that will cause other aches and pains. If you find that stretching the pec minor in this position is really painful for your shoulder, then definitely make sure that you're foam rolling underneath your armpit first, and that you're foam rolling it well before you stretch your pec minor in this position. Sometimes that can be extremely helpful to help reduce pain. Now that we are done with targeting the muscles to give you the best chance to improve your spine mobility, let's target the actual spine. We're actually going to start with foam rolling. Yeah, find a foam roller and then just allow yourself to lay across the foam roller. You want the foam roller to be just right around the shoulder blade. I start below the shoulder blade and then make my way up. You may find that there is a particular spot that is a bit sensitive but healthy. If you find that spot, you can feel free to stay in that position, and then hold your head and support it with your hands and allow your elbows to draw back. And this is where the other stretches comes into play, because you've stretched the pec minor, you've stretched underneath the armpit. You will be a little bit more successful with drawing the elbow back and allowing gravity to take over. You don't want to be in any rush when you are stretching your upper back here. Just allow your shoulders to draw back, your chest to pop up, and just relax, chillax. Don't rush to do anything. Heck, this is a great position for you to meditate in. You can take some deep breaths. I'm emphasizing this because this is where you make the slow change. It will take some time for your body to adapt to this. Ideally, try to hold this for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then, of course, try to see if you can do it for 2 rounds, maybe 2 rounds in the morning and then 2 rounds at night. Of course, there'll be more to the stretch. After you've stayed here for a while, you can place your feet together and your knees together and then rock your knees side to side gently within the range that you can absolutely control. And what you need to do to make sure that you're controlling this range is to make sure that the opposite shoulder that you're rotating your knees away from is not lifting up and coming with you. Again, this will all stay within the 2 to 3 minute stretch that you are doing this for. So you can stay static for about 1.5 minutes and then rock yourself side to side for the other 1.5 minutes and divide your time that way. If you find that this particular mobility is aggressive, you can just lay your spine on top of the foam roller, widen your feet so that your base of support is wider for an easier way to balance. And then from here, just alternate one hand at a time, or you could do both hands, bringing it up and overhead. Now, if your back is really stiff, you might not be able to bring your both hands all the way up. Just work within a range that you can absolutely tolerate. And this will give you a gentler stretch through your upper back to help you look taller. Here comes the super stretch. After you're done with the foam roller, you want to find yourself a pull-up bar that you'll be able to reach up to without lifting your body. So from here, just reach up and go for an underhand grip. If you find that that is too aggressive, feel free to do an overhand grip. That is equally acceptable here. And then sit into your hips and allow gravity to traction your spine for the final phase of mobilizing your upper back. In addition to this, you will get a stretch right along the sides of your armpit, especially if you're going for an underhand grip. If your spine is really stiff, you may feel the stretch here as well if you're going for the overhand grip. Now, if you can hold this for 30 seconds for a couple rounds, that would be awesome. If you find that your grip is failing you here, just hold for 10 seconds at a time for 10 repetitions, and that will be equally acceptable. Doing this for a couple rounds a day, maybe once in the morning and then once at night, will be really, really good and healthy for you to look tall. And at this point, you should be looking really tall by now. But we are not done yet because we need to reinforce this with strengthening. I'm going to show you 2 strengthening drills that will be really useful for you here after you've mobilized your upper spine. The first is basic rows. I'm sure you've seen this before, but I'm going to have you do it a tad bit differently. First, get yourself a resistance band to wrap around something sturdy to do the rows in. Or you could just use a cable machine here as well. Set yourself up so you're standing, maybe with slight knee flexion. And then from here, step back enough to get a strong enough tension on the resistance band. And then allow your thoracic spine, and this is where I know I'll sound crazy, but allow your thoracic spine to round and then straighten yourself up by squeezing your shoulder blade back and down and then rolling your elbow to the side of your trunk. I know you're saying, Manny, you're crazy. Why do you want me to round my back? Well, let me tell you this. This is where your strength lies at the moment, and I'm just taking advantage of that to help you look taller. What do I mean? Well, when you round your back, you stretch the muscles a little bit more. When you stretch it, you load it, and you give it the potential energy to snap back and get yourself straighter. So we're just trying to be brilliant here and take advantage of your current strength to help you reset yourself into a taller state. When you're doing the rows, go for about 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions. With this particular one, you don't have to do every day, but at least try to be consistent with it and do it every other day. The last exercise is the Swirly Swirls 1.2. That's what we're calling it. If you know, you know. What you want to do here is to use the same resistance band. Get yourself into a staggered stance, one leg forward, the other leg back. Preferably you're shifted onto your toe on the back leg. And then from here, hold on to the band on the opposite side of your front leg. And step back far enough for the band to have a strong pull on your upper spine. So the band will influence rotation when you allow it to pull you forward, rotating towards your front leg, and then from there squeeze your shoulder blade, rotate your trunk back, and then roll your elbow to the side of your trunk. Repeat this for a couple sets of 12 to 15 repetitions here. This is a great exercise to reinforce everything that you just did, which is really thoracic extension, thoracic rotation, and strengthening. So the last thing I'm going to ask you to do is to be really mindful of the things that you do when you are going through your day-to-day activities. Sometimes it is the things that we fall into that causes our back to become stiff. So if you work in front of your computer a lot, if you watch TV a lot, if you find yourself stuck in this position a lot, doing whatever, doesn't matter. Be mindful of that and then slowly work towards changing that. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the time that you spent with me. I'll see you in the next one.